Okay, we are live now. So, good evening, ladies and gentlemen. Welcome to Reflections with Darshana, my own chat show. And we meet every Sunday, as you know. So, stay tuned every Sunday at 8 p.m. A few minutes here and there because of technical issues. Sometimes it takes a while to go live from the Zoom. So apologies if I've kept you waiting. Today we have a wonderful guest. Her name is Liza, and she is the founder and vice president of Saving Our Planet. And she's also one of the main volunteers of IAHV, International Association of Human Values, and she's the project lead on climate action. So, welcome, Lisa, to my show.
Thank you, Darshana. Thank you for having me. I'm so excited to be here. It's my first time.
Yes, I'm excited too. And Lisa is very passionate about saving our planet, saving our environment, which I believe it is high time we take this into consideration because we have been ignoring our planet. And look at the situation that we are in at the moment. I don't need to say much, but it's our duty and responsibility because I feel that this is our Mother Earth. She's looking after us, and now it is our turn to look after our Mother Earth. And Lisa is the best person who can give tips and guidelines on little things that you do in your life that can affect the bigger picture. So make sure you stay tuned and share this video as much as you can, because it's not my planet or your planet, guys. It is our planet, and it is our responsibility. So Lisa, my first question is, how did all this start? Why are you so passionate about the environment? I mean, I've met you a couple of times and you speak very passionately about this. How did all this start? Tell me a little bit about it.
Well, there's two aspects to how it started. The first is my mother. She called me. I was working. I had a busy career in California, and she wanted me to watch a film about climate. And I had no interest. I didn't want to waste my time watching a film about climate. I didn't want to know. I didn't want to know because if I knew, I might have to change my life. So I didn't want to know. So I said, yeah, I'll get to it. I'll get to it. Finally, she sent me the film. I had to watch it to be polite. And of course, that was the beginning of the beginning. It was called The Age of Stupid. And it was, way in the future, looking back on this era when we all knew better and we didn't do anything because we had other things to do. And it showed what the consequence would be of being stupid, which is what we're being now. So it woke me up. And the other thing that woke me up is I belong to a meditation organization that you belong to too, I believe, Art of Living. And the guru was there, and I got to speak to him for the first time in my life. And I said, Guru Sri Sri, tell me, I have such a perfect life. I have no problem at all with my life. I've got all the money I need. I've got a lovely house, a lovely husband. But I have one worry, and it's the climate. Should I just meditate and enjoy my life? Or should I do something? And he said, action. Action is always the better choice. So here we are. And that's
So
why.
how many years ago your mother sent this video to you?
My mother sent the video about 14 years ago, maybe 14. And my conversation with Sri Sri Ravi Shankar was maybe 2014, 6 years ago. So.
Okay. So tell us a bit more. For this, I would like you to be. I've made you a co-host, and you can share screens and some presentation, because that would be give a better picture to our audience. So my other question is, you can give the tips later on, but what are the main culprits, if I may use the word, that are ruining this planet?
The main culprit, the number one culprit, is fossil fuel. Fossil fuel, that means when you get in an airplane, when you get in your car, um, anything like that. When you're taking the goodies in the earth and burning them, the products of the burning go into the sky, into the atmosphere, and make a thick blanket that's keeping us too warm, and that's going to continue to keep warming us up. And it doesn't go away, not in the time scale that we need. I mean, maybe in thousands of years, but right now it's just accumulating, getting fatter and thicker, and we're getting too hot. And the danger with getting too hot is it doesn't sound like a lot, 1.5, 2 degrees, but actually 3, 4 degrees, it's huge. It's huge. And it could destroy all life on the planet if we let it go. So we, climate change, storms, fires, we really have to pay attention. It's convenient to avoid it, but we have to pay attention.
Right. So I will pass it on to you. I've made you co-host. So if you would like to start your presentation, that would be great if you can.
Thank you. Yes, I would like to do that. Feel free to butt in with questions. I did this presentation just for you, Darshana. I know you think, well, I could just pull out a presentation from years ago, but actually everything changes. So I did this for you today with love, and thank you for hosting me. And here we go. Okay, I'll share the screen.
Thank you for doing it for me and for our audience. Thank you. Really appreciate it.
For all of us. So here we go. Here we go. Sharing the screen. Am I sharing? Oh no, not yet. Share and slideshow. Slideshow from the beginning. Okay, here we go. So this presentation is called Caring for Our Planet, a User's Guide. And I'm with Saving Our Planet. There's the link there. And our mission is to educate, inspire, and energize people to work together to save our planet from climate disruption. And in case you don't know, most people know, what happened? Most people know this, but in case you don't know, the dark side of the Industrial Revolution is that we started burning fossil fuels to make engines go. And that made this layer, you see this gray layer represents the atmosphere and the pollution in the atmosphere, particularly CO2, but there are other gases. And those things trap the heat and keep the earth warm. Before, more of that heat from the sun would have reflected back into space, but we're trapping it. And here is a graphic from an organization called Climate Interactive. And they're very scientific. If you go to their site, you can figure out how to get these exact numbers. But they're showing that the goal is 1.5 degrees, meaning not getting warmer than 1.5 degrees globally. Business as usual is going to get us to 4.1 degrees by the end of this century. And it's just not livable. And national proposals, what all the countries agreed to, will get us to 3.2. Because again, it's not viable. We have to do better. And here's a graph. This shows you, in red is the carbon dioxide, how it's gone up since 1880. And right now it's actually off this chart. It's at 420 or something around there. And the temperature, you see the temperature creeps up with the carbon dioxide. It's just to show there's a correlation. And we have a window of time to stop producing carbon dioxide, or we can get to a certain amount of carbon dioxide before you get to the 2 degrees. And after that, you're going to 3 and 4 and so on. And we've used up this green amount on you see the total carbon budget. Carbon budget means how much you can use and keep it to 2. And we've used up the green amount, and we've only got that blue amount left. And that's left to use in forever, not this year. It's in forever. So what can we do?
So for me, it looks like we have used almost 75%.
Yeah, we have. You're quite right. So
God.
we better do something. And there are indeed 4 things that we can do that I've written out here. GHG is greenhouse gas. We can emit less greenhouse gas. We can absorb CO2, which is a greenhouse gas. It's one of the biggest ones, by planting trees, because trees, as they grow, they suck up the CO2. So that's good. We can learn and understand the situation. That's the 3rd thing. And the 4th thing is get the word out, because we all have to change. And too many people like me, don't want to know. You have to knock those doors down. So how do we emit less? There's 4 things we can do. We can have a more planet-friendly diet, avoid air travel, avoid petrol, gas use, and avoid overconsumption. What's that mean? Planet-friendly diet, what is that? Well, one thing, if you eat locally sourced food, you save the greenhouse gas emissions from transport, because when you transport, you're burning gas or petrol. Another thing you can do is use plant-based food, and that saves GHG emissions from farm animals, because when they burp, they put out methane, and methane is even worse than CO2. Methane warms up the earth really fast. But the good thing about methane is it goes away really fast, so compared to CO2. So if you stop eating meat and stop having all these cows burping, then you can actually make a bigger impact on keeping the planet cool. Another thing is the use of the space we have on this planet. A cow can give 1,500 meals, but the grain to feed it, 18,000 meals. So you're really being inefficient by eating the animal, because you have to feed the animal and they dispose of a lot in waste. It's a waste of space. And water. 15,000 liters of water are needed for 1 kilogram of beef, but only 800 for 1 kilogram of wheat. And then you have to make room for the animals. So there's deforesting that goes on to make room for the animals, and that takes away trees and adds to the problem.
I want to clarify, what is this 15,000 liters of water needed for 1 kg beef? What does that mean?
You have to give the cow something to drink, or he will die. She will die. So to end up with a slab of meat, that's how many liters of water went through the cow. You know, the cow has to drink like we do. But you could just take that water and put it on the wheat, grain, and eat the grain, and you've used less water, and you've used less land, and you've used less resources, and you've fed yourself probably more healthily. Less chance of cancer and high blood pressure and all kinds of things. So it's a win-win to move away from meat. And I'm picking on cows, but you know, cows and sheep and other animals, cows are the worst, but the less you use them, the better for the planet. Now, the next thing we talked about was not emitting so much and reducing your air travel. And there's an organization called Flight Free UK, which encourages people to have a flight-free year. And in Positive News, they reported that going flight-free is a campaign to reduce air travel, and it's doing very, very well. So this graph says, say no thanks to fossil fuels, because fossil fuels contribute more than 3/4 of the worldwide energy use. So you should reject coal, reject petrol. I put plastics here too, because it's made with petrol. Reject, reject, reject. Embrace solar. We have solar panels, electric, and non-carbon energy. I'll talk about that more. That will be a bit of a surprise for some of you, but we want energy that doesn't put carbon in the air. And one thing you can replace fossil fuels with is your own excess calories. If you go on the bike, it runs on fat and saves you money. And if you go in the car, it runs on money and makes you fat. This is an interesting graphic.
Very true.
Yeah. Here's an interesting graphic. This shows the life cycle emissions, that's greenhouse gas emissions, for electricity generation based on the kind of electricity. Coal is the worst. If you ever get a chance to vote and you have one candidate who wants coal plants and the other one who doesn't, you pick the one who doesn't, because coal is really bad. It puts a lot of CO2 in the air, and it puts particles in your lungs so that in fact it kills people. But no one talks about it, but coal is deadly. Gas kills people, and all the way down. People are so afraid of nuclear, but based on how much energy comes out of each kilowatt hour, nuclear is actually one of the safest. Even with all the accidents, less people die. And onshore wind, of course, is very safe. Here are your death rates brown coal, coal, oil, biomass, gas, and nuclear. Nuclear is actually the safest form of energy, despite all that you hear to the contrary, especially from Greenpeace. And Greenpeace does a lot of good things, but the one thing they have not done that's good is they have frightened everybody, and they don't have their facts always right. It's a shame. So let's go. I won't go any more on about this. I'll let you read, and I'll close this subject. But this book is what changed my attitude. I was very anti-nuclear, and then I read this book, and it changed my attitude because I got the facts. It's called Climate Gamble: Is Anti-Nuclear Activism Endangering Our Future? I'll leave it to you to read. It's 100 pages. It's very well written, and it's not written by the nuclear industry. It's written by a journalist and a scientist. Now, next thing
Very
you can do.
interesting. Very
Isn't
interesting.
that odd? It's really weird. I would never have thought.
I mean, I've never heard this before, but this book is, I'm going to grab my copy of this book.
Please do. It's very low cost. The people aren't making any money out of it. They gave away 5,000 of them with the environmental thing, and they're very good people. I know them. They're very good people. So the next thing is to avoid overconsumption. Every time we buy clothes, cars, phones, computers, it requires raw materials that come from the earth and energy to produce it and more energy to transport it. So ask yourself 2, 3, 4 times, do I really need that? It might not be good for the economy, but it'll be good for the planet.
I've heard that there are more mobile phones on this planet than the people.
There are. Mobile phones are a real problem, computers. We are so exploiting this planet. We're sucking the life out of it, really. It's very sad. So, okay, we've talked about how you can stop emitting so much, and now we're turning to the next subject, which is how can you absorb that CO2 that you've already put out there and that you're continuing to put out there. And you can do this by planting trees. Now, if you go in your backyard and plant a tree, that's not what I'm talking about, because that's one tree. It's not going to do much. You need to plant thousands of trees. And it's very expensive to plant trees in England, for example, or in Europe. They cost a lot of money. The land costs a lot, and it's not done to scale. But these 3 sources here, they're from Saving Our Planet and International Association of Human Values. We collect money and we send it to an organization called Eden Reforestation Project. And they get the trees planted by employing people in Haiti, Nepal, Madagascar, Ethiopia. Those people really need jobs, and they can plant trees for about 10 cents, maybe 20 cents a tree, US cents. So very inexpensive trees, lots of trees. These are 3 places you can contribute and make yourself feel better about your part to that big warm blanket above the earth.
So audience, whoever are watching this, these are the website links. You can even connect with me. You can connect with Liza. This is a beautiful way to, contribute to our planet. And rather than buying all these expensive gifts, etc., since festive season is coming up, I would rather recommend you to do use one of these links here. I will post the links afterwards in the comments as well, so that you can donate, and a small contribution from your side during the festive season to save our planet.
Thank you, Darshana. This is a picture that came from Eden Reforestation, and this just recaps that's who we fund. We don't take the money and plant the trees ourselves. We send it to Eden, who's the top charity in the area, and we have already planted 38,000 trees, 38,041 trees in the last 2 years. No, that's wrong. That's a big mistake. 380,000. I dropped the number because we had 250,000, and then I did this. Excuse me, everybody. I did this too quickly today. We planted more than 250,000 trees. That's a mistake. I'll fix this. Okay. We fund Eden Reforestation projects, and for £374, you can plant 3,500 trees. and we've planted 380,000. That's a mistake. This is a graph that shows how much, as UK, for those of us in the UK, as UK residents, we put in the air. The red is the official number, which is in 2014 was just under 10 tons of carbon dioxide, and in 1990, and sorry, I got that wrong. Sorry. The blue is 1990 and the red is 2014. The bigger bar, I'm sorry guys, I did this all today in a hurry. The bigger bar is the, includes when we buy a phone, it includes all the carbon that went into the phone. The littler bar is just the carbon we made locally. But the first, the blue number is 1990 and the red number is 2014. So actually we've reduced the amount of carbon that we're putting out, but it's still really a lot. And like I said, I'll fix some of that. So the next thing is learning. We talked about reducing our emissions. We talked about absorbing our carbon dioxide. The next thing was to learn and understand. I've given you one book to read. Here are some other resources. SavingOurPlanet.net has links, resources to get you all the information you need. The big organization that does the science and makes the reports that we all rely on is called the Intergovernmental Panel on Climate Change, the IPCC. And there's the website. All their reports are there. The next major report's coming out in 2022. And then you can attend informational events like this one. And then how do you spread the word? How do you get the word out? Well, you can contact schools to bring this book to school kids. This book was written by my mom, and she just updated it with a 2020 edition. She's 83 years old and works so friggin' hard. It's amazing. She's written this book, in English and French. It's been translated and she's published it in Italian. And we also have a German translation and a Spanish translation that are done, but we haven't put the, finished the publication aspect. So it's an amazing book. It's been commented on positively by some of the best known climate scientists in the world, including James Hansen. So this is a book we'd like to get into schools, and we need your help. Also host educational events and volunteer. Saving Our Planet, NOCO2, and or the International Association of Human Values. If you do all of that, all those things, you've done your best. And thank you for listening.
So any of people who are associated with school and who would like to, take this up as a project and, bring this book to the school kids, it's very nice if we inculcate this habit of, loving our planet, nurturing our planet from a very young age. That way, it is when they grow old, children, when they grow up, they will naturally be very conscious of how much they misuse the things, and they'll be conscious of, how much they want to buy and just become aware. And if it is inculcated from young age, I think that's a very, very good idea. So good shot if you want to buy this book and, present this book to children. So one more gift ideas. I'm just telling all gift ideas since the festive season is coming up, which is a good idea indeed. And Liza, tell us some small tips that we can apply in our day-to-day life that can, help us, and we can start doing something right now.
Okay, so right now you can stop using your car as much as you used to. So my husband insisted we buy a car about 10 years ago, and I said we don't need it. He insisted. It sits out there. It's a hybrid, so it doesn't use hardly any petrol, but it sits out there and doesn't get used, and the battery keeps dying because we don't use it, because we've learned to walk everywhere. So if we want to go pre-COVID to London, we walk 45 minutes to the train station. We take the train, we get off, we walk, and I walk about 10 kilometers a day. As a result, I can eat all the chocolate I want, all the cakes. I still weigh what I weighed when I was 18 years old. And
that's the best thing, that you can eat chocolate
all day. Chocolate, ice cream, all I want. And I haven't gained any weight, but I walk every day, no exception, 10 kilometers. That's how I go. If I want to go to the shopping, I bring my car is a old lady trolley car, but a big version. And I feel like an old lady, but you know what? I'm so strong, and I don't have a car. That's I mean, we have a car, but I don't use it. I use the trolley.
Right.
So
So
get off your tail and
what
walk.
other tips you can give?
The other thing is, if I'm in a restroom, a ladies' room, toilet, I wash my hands. I learned this in Switzerland. I had a job in Switzerland, and there was a sign that said, studies have shown that the best way and the most environmentally correct way to dry your hands is just to walk away, walk out of the loo, and in 20 or 30 seconds, your hands are going to be dry. You don't have to turn on that noisy, disgusting heater. You don't have to rip off that paper. It's not necessary. Your hands, I promise you, will be dry in 30 seconds, no matter. Hair. I can't remember the last time I used a hair dryer. It must be, I don't know, 40 years? I go out with my hair wet, soaking wet. I have never caught a cold from going out with wet hair. That's an old wives' tale. Clothes. You know, there was a time when everyone hung their clothes, and still here in the UK, many people hang their clothes. But in America, people take their clothes and they put them in the dryer. For what? For what? It ruins the clothes.
And you have to do lot of ironing with the dryer.
Oh, the iron? I can't tell you the last time I've used the iron. I don't use the iron. If I have wrinkles, too bad. That's just the way it is. Nobody has refused to talk to me or looked at me cross-eyed because I have wrinkles, or I, wear clothes that don't wrinkle. I don't use a dryer. I don't use a hair dryer. I don't use a leaf blower. When I see people blowing leaves, I get so annoyed. I have to, do my meditation thing to not, go tell them off. So there's so many things. Yeah, you don't need to use so much. You don't need to buy so much. You don't need to use so much. You'll be fine, I promise, using a lot less.
Yeah, so I would also like to mention here that there are some people who have so many mobile phones, that one phone is not enough for them. As soon as there is a new phone, they want to upgrade. But my friends, all this is taking a toll on this planet. So please be aware. We all have to look after our planet. And the reason for looking after is we have lived our life, but it is for the future generations to come. So it's not like you cannot be selfish like that. You have to. Now that we have heard this presentation, Liza's took us through a lot of things. Now is the time to take action. What else, last words before we close this show, what would you like to say to our audience, Liza?
I would like to thank the audience for sitting here and watching this, because nobody wants to hear something that says we need to change our life. We have enough pressure, but we need to change our life. Unfortunately, we have to. But it's not so bad. I mean, the good thing is it's not so bad. You get to eat more chocolate.
Indeed. And there are little things you can do, like already, as Liza already mentioned, avoid using the car, not consuming too much, just being aware of, putting the little things like putting the switches off of the rooms, lights off in the rooms that you are not using. I've seen so many people who put on the TV and they are in the kitchen cooking and nobody's watching. And I like tell them, come on, they say, no, it's fine. It's actually not fine. It's not fine. You cannot be consuming things like this which you really don't need. So just make sure that you share this video, and let's be more aware to take care of our planet. Mother Earth has looked out after us so beautifully. It has given us so many things, and now is our turn to do little things, change our life a little bit, and see the change yourself. And I tell you, the satisfaction you get would be brilliant. It cannot be compared to anything. Also, before we close, I would like to tell you that Liza is available if you would like to have invite her for a presentation something similar to this. It can be a little bit longer or a little bit shorter as well. So please do get in touch with Lisa. I have tagged her, or you can even get in touch with me if you want to contact her. Maybe you have an event in your office, and you can organize an event about this environment, and Lisa will come and do the presentations for you. Or some of you who are having school going children, and if they would like to participate in this huge project that we are having, then please do get in touch, because children always love to do new activities. And any such thing, any ideas that come in your mind that can save this planet, do get in touch with us. And if you want to volunteer with us, then also there's an opportunity for you to get in touch. And that's about it for today. Look after yourself and look after our planet as well. I would like to thank Lisa one more time. Thank you very much. This was a very, very inspiring presentation, and I hope you all enjoyed it as much as I enjoyed it. And Lisa, thanks again for coming on my show. And see you all next week. Stay safe and keep smiling. Bye
Thank
for
you,
now.
Darshana. Bye bye.
Thank
Thank
you.
you.
Thanks a lot. Thanks a lot. Bye now. Bye,
Bye.
everyone. Take care.